This is a story of love. Laurie LoMonaco Newman and her dog Tuesday. She's been a friend of mine for years and traveled from Rochester to share this story. Her passion is saving elderly and sick pets. I will never forget her Tuesday.
The first time I saw Tuesday was actually on Steve Caparizzo's Pet Connection Facebook page. And it was ironic because I love cattle dogs. Her face caught my attention. Her body caught my attention.
This is such a tragic story of survival. Tuesday got out only when her owner died.
Tuesday spent the first 9 years of her life on a heavy chain, chained to a tree in the woods of the Adirondacks. And that's where she lived 24/7. Minimal shelter, if any, fed at the convenience of the person who sentenced her to that chain. She had a horrible life. I don't know how she lived because of her disabilities, because of her injuries due to that life.
The medical care was immense to get Tuesday well.
A very kind woman named Sue took Tuesday into her home temporarily. She took her to Dr. Sarah Ryan. The amount of medical that Tuesday needed was astronomical.
Dr. Ryan saw a will to survive and gave her a chance. There was so much to try and fix.
She was born, her right front leg didn't develop properly. It actually grew inside her body parallel to her ribs, and her paw protruded from her back. All those years on that chain, and when they removed her, her whole face, her mouth, her neck, her eyes were filled with porcupine quills, and somebody had broken them off as if that was going to help.
Because of the quills, she lost her sight and had a very bad case of Lyme disease and epilepsy.
And I think about her all those years on that chain alone, and I don't have to tell you the weather in the Adirondacks and the heat of the summer and the cold and the snow. She survived. I mean, she was such a fighter.
Laurie had to teach her love, what it's like to be in a home. It took 6 to 8 months.
So I'd take her outside and she would go to the bathroom, Steve, and beeline right up those stairs to the door. She was afraid. She was afraid that I wasn't going to let her back in, that if I took her outside, she was going to lose everything she had inside.
Tuesday was so fearful of thunderstorms, but found strength through one of her little fur brothers.
Really, the only thing that would calm her was Johnny, this little tiny Yorkie. She loved him, and they'd curl up on the couch. He brought an amount of strength. This little tiny dog gave her strength.
With time and love from Laurie, Tuesday came out of her shell.
I can say back in June of 2017, we were at Animal Advocacy Day, New York State Animal Advocacy Day. That's when I first met you in person. She was so good. She never made a sound and so comfortable as long as I was right next to her, always to be right next to me. She'd lay at my feet. She went to college student de-stressing events to distress students during testing weeks, and they loved her, absolutely loved her. She loved people, and she was, always the bridesmaid in a wedding with some other rescue dogs, and that was a great day too. We had a little floral collar made for her, and I still have that. That's in our living room.
Her life on that chain took a toll on Tuesday's body. In August of 2019, she was diagnosed with hepatitis. She had had it for a very long time. Time with a pet is never long enough.
And I knew she couldn't do it anymore. And the day she came, I promised Tuesday I would never let her suffer. That I would always make sure she had her dignity, and I would never let her suffer. And I knew if I didn't let her go then, I wasn't keeping my promise. And so when Tuesday left this earth, after she ate 3 peanut butter cups, and she heard me singing, "You Are My Sunshine." And that's how Tuesday left me.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are...
I'm so sorry.
I'll never forget her. This is her ashes. I had that ring made.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Those are her ashes.
She's always with you.
She's always with me, just like she always was.
Please don't take my sunshine away. I love you, Tuesday.
Amazing story, right? You know, I cried when we interviewed Laurie. I cried when we were putting the story together. You know why? Because Tuesday will always be in our hearts. Thank you, Laurie, so much for sharing her with all of us. Up next, it's the dreaded tick season. In the fall, there's another peak of these dangerous bugs. We'll be right back.